Good morning, and this is the Kendall Peak Lake Trail at Snoqualmie Pass in the central Cascades of Washington. Up to the lakes, it's about an 8-mile round trip. That's if you go all the way to the lakes. I'm not quite sure how far I'll be going today, because this morning I'm out for a little landscape photography. It's great. It's great to be back in the snow. Looking at the sky, there's a few breaks in the clouds. It's about 45 minutes past sunrise right now. So I was going to come up here yesterday, but the weather forecast for yesterday was intermittent rain and snow. Today, only snow. There's light snow flurry right now, but I definitely didn't want to come here in the rain, and it's always better for photography if the trees have some snow on them. So yeah, it's great to be back. Some interesting little backcountry trivia. Those features here are called runnels, and they form when liquid water runs through the snowpack. They're good to know for avalanche prediction, because they kind of act like rebar and actually add stability to the snowpack. Yeah, runnels. Well, I'm about 3 miles in, or maybe just about 3, and got to the first viewpoint here. It's pretty hard going in snowshoes, but that's pretty typical in the wintertime. But wow, what a beautiful area. The higher I've gotten, there's more snow on the trees, just because of the freezing level. But yeah, it's beautiful up here. It's always great to be out in the wintertime. So I'm gonna stop here. Viewpoint. In the wintertime, the lights stays pretty low on the horizon, and we've got intermittent clouds today, so hopefully can shoot most of the day without a lot of harsh light. So right now the light looks really good. Composition is but the first viewpoint. So I'm gonna stop here, break out the camera, take a photograph. So for this composition, pretty straightforward. I'm using these pine trees on the left and right as framing. We're looking basically to the south, or a little bit of southeast. So the composition is it's a little cluttered. It's looking at the ski area. So, but we have Interstate 90, Summit Central, and the ski area here. But I had some good light when I got here, but some clouds have come in, so now the valley below is a little obscured by the snow. So you can see behind me, well, I don't know if you can see on this camera, but there is some good light on the ridge behind me, and that's where I'm headed next. But I want to go ahead and knock this shot out. I've got everything framed up. I'm shooting it I got the 16 to 35 on. I'm shooting at about 21 or 22 millimeters, f11, 1/8 of a second, ISO 100. Just waiting on a little bit more light in the valley. I'll go ahead and take this shot get this one in the can and hopefully find something better further up the trail. Well, I waited around for like 10 minutes or maybe 15. A little bit of light came back and went ahead and took that shot. That composition wasn't all that good, so I decided it wasn't worth spending too much time waiting on. I'm hopeful that there'll be some better photo opportunities as I get further up the trail here. Again, we're going, this is the Kendall Lakes trail near Snoqualmie Pass, and so should get some better landscape and mountain views once I get further up, maybe another half mile or so. Well, I've only come about maybe, I don't know, less than a quarter mile up the trail, and I've got an amazing composition looking to the west, looking toward the Alpental Snow Creek drainage. Maybe Kendall Peak is the one in the distance. Don't quote me on that, but that might be the one. But got some amazing light right now, and the immediate, I don't really have any foreground, but I have a midground and a background. The midground is in shadow, and there's some filtered light coming through and just hitting the ridge. There's lots of atmosphere, clouds. Part of the ridge is obscured by the clouds, and but the ridge line is showing and illuminated in nice morning light. It's about 9:15 in the morning. So yeah, it was well worth bagging that last composition and coming up here. Well, I've captured a couple different lighting compositions here. They all look really good. I'll have to take a look when I get back home and see which one I like best. But yeah, I'm glad I came up to this. This is it's a really good composition, and the light's amazing. I'm going to wrap it up here, and I'm going to try and get got plenty of daylight. It's only 9:20 a.m. so I'm going to go further up trail, and hopefully we have the Kendall catwalk and the ridge looking to the north here. So hopefully, if the snow's back now, so all the light is gone. But if we get some more light, there may be some additional compositions further up the trail. So I'm going to walk up and hopefully maybe get another picture or two. Well, I saw this composition on the way up from down below. This is looking at the ridge, and when the ridge is exposed, it's got a rocky outcropping on the top. Actually, well, unfortunately, you can't see anything now because clouds have moved in, but again, it's intermittent clouds, sun, and snow. And so I've got the tripod here, I've got the composition set. I left the 24-70 on, but I'm shooting this at 24 mil. I'm able to use pine trees on the left and right to frame this composition. I think it'll be really nice if I get some light and if the clouds open up. So one other thing, since I'm going to be here for a little bit, there was a little bit of wind when I got here, and it's considerably colder at this elevation than it was down below. So I've gone ahead and put on my shell just to keep me warm while I'm standing here. I anticipate, it didn't take long to get here, maybe only 15 or 20 minutes from the previous shot, but I'll probably be here for a little bit, so gone ahead and put a shell on just to keep me warm and comfortable while I'm waiting on the light. Oh, by the way, Lenny and Larry's cookies. You can order these on Amazon. I think maybe you can buy them in the store too. They're great for in the backcountry. 420 calories in one cookie. I had to stop eating my cookie. The clouds are parting at the top of the ridge. But am I gonna get any light? I don't know. I don't know. There's some light further off to the west, but I really need it to really need a light to come this way. So a quick update. I moved about 15 feet to the left. The more I looked at the composition that I had earlier, the more I didn't like the balance. So by moving to the left, two things. It allows me to use the pine tree on the left-hand side as kind of a blocker to keep the eye from going out of frame in that direction. And so that goes from top of the frame to the bottom of the frame. And then I have two slightly smaller trees on the right-hand side, but there's two of them. And so those kind of balance the scene, I think, a little bit better. The other reason I wanted to come further to the left is the interest is actually the ridge line that is in the distance. And so this gives me a much better perspective on that ridge line, which is right now, I can see the ridge, but unfortunately, there's still no light. So I'm patiently waiting. Well, it's 11:20, and I think I got here like at 9:30 or something, so almost 2 hours waiting on this light to materialize, and yeah, unfortunately I don't think it's going to happen, at least not while I'm standing here. And oh, it's so disappointing because I know what that could have been with the right light in the atmosphere, with the ridge line, trees in the foreground, rocky ridge in the background. Oh, would have been epic. But it is not to be today. So yeah, I've been here almost 2 hours. My feet are cold because it's been standing around. I have put on pretty much every layer I brought with me, so my upper body and my legs are fine. So I've stayed warm while I'm tooling around and waiting for this light, but it is not to be. So I'm going to start packing things up here and head down. Well, I've got everything loaded in the backpack and headed down. So I guess two shots with epic light in one day is just a little too much to ask. You can actually you can see behind me, totally socked in. I'll actually you know, I didn't get the light that I want, but I did take a few exposures of the composition that I was thinking about, so I'll show you that one right now. So you can see by that composition that it lacks light, but it also lacks depth because there's not enough of the background ridge exposed to really give the composition any depth. And that's what I was hoping, but to do that, I have to hope for that another day. Well, it's snowing pretty good now, so got like a 2.5 or maybe 3 mile walk back to the car. But it is just a absolutely gorgeous area to be in. I always love coming into the backcountry, but something special, something magical about coming out in the wintertime. I always enjoy it. So it's been a pretty productive day. I hope you've enjoyed coming along on this mini kind of day hike photography expedition. If you enjoyed the video, I always appreciate a thumbs up. And if you want to get updates on my journey as I develop as a photographer, well then at least consider hitting that subscribe button. And so from the Kendall Peak Lakes trail at Snoqualmie Pass, I'm going to end it here, and I will see you in the next video.